Tonight's movie asks a very dangerous question. What if the most terrifying thing in a courtroom isn't actually the crime? It's charisma? Charm? Tonight, we are putting Primal Fear on the stand.
And now, our feature presentation.
Fussy, who hired this crew?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong.
Show me the money!
Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
Baby, you are so money and you don't even know it.
Yeah, I thought this was good.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
And we're back as well.
Back, baby.
It's so fun as the theme song is going and it starts with the Mission Impossible. And I saw you was watching your camera and you're moving through your house. I was like, oh, he's doing some spy stuff.
It's out here.
You're just a little spy. Welcome in, everybody, to 52/1996, a live movie conversation podcast where we, take a look back 30 years, dig into the films of 1996, one movie at a time. I'm your host, Cody, and this week I'm joined once again by Steven as we break down Primal Fear. If this is your first time hanging out with us, welcome in. We are happy to have you. The idea is pretty simple. Every week for 52 weeks, we revisit a movie released in the year 1996. We check out vibe, performances, scenes, trivia, and if it survives a more modern watch. We are starting a new theme. We're kicking off a new theme this month, which is called "I'll See You in Court," which spotlights courtroom dramas, courtroom comedy, maybe later down the line, from the year 1996. So that's what we're doing all month here is courtroom movies from this year. Very popular theme in the mid 90s. A lot of Grisham stuff coming out around this time. We'll probably get into that a little bit. But before we get into our conversation, Steven, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. This is a truly a Mother's Day movie because they kill all the fathers in it.
As they should, right?
Yeah, right. So no, this movie is not about mothers at all. There are no mothers in this movie. I don't think at all, but
Motherless movie.
This is definitely a very motherless movie.
Yep.
So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. We love you. We appreciate you. And all those that are mothers in other ways,
Yeah.
Or mothers.
Mothers. Shout out to all my baby mamas. My mamas.
Mamas. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I'm sorry.
Sorry, okay?
It's funny. I saw the Kids Bop version music video of that this past week. It's so funny. Just this little white kid saying how sorry he was to Miss Jackson. It's great.
Oh, Miss Jackson.
Steven, I have to ask you, is this your first time watching Primal Fear?
Man, I feel like somehow I missed it, yeah, first time seeing it. And really, man, I was telling me and Joseph came in and spent the night last night for Mama's Day. And I was saying it's one of the first ones in a long time for the stream that I almost I knew nothing about it.
That's great.
I didn't look at it like a synopsis or a bio. I didn't know anything about it. Never really heard anything about it and went in raw.
That's good. I am glad that is how you went into this movie because I would have I remember this movie for whatever reason. I watched this movie when I was a kid. And I remember a lot of parts vividly. I remember the fingers getting chopped off. I remember a lot of that stuff.
Well, you think on TV maybe?
Maybe, but I remember those hands getting chopped off. And would that have been on network television? I don't know. I mean, maybe nowadays it would, but I remember watching this movie, and I'm like, I knew everything that happened in it. I knew what to expect from it. And at the end of it, I was like, man, I really wish I could have watched this with somebody who's never seen this before, because I thought this movie was like just the most amazing thing I'd ever seen at the time. So not to say that there aren't things that I love about this. I do love this. I'm not trying to like poo-poo on my rating later down the line, but I think it lost a little bit of luster on the second one, or like as knowing exactly what's going to happen. So I am curious as we start talking about this to see how you feel about it. It's definitely an interesting story, and your background is interesting too, because I want to get into that. There's a little bit of psychological stuff to this, and I was just like, oh yeah, this doesn't work anymore. Oh shit, I almost spilled my drink everywhere. That would have been bad. Let's learn a little bit more about this before we get into our categories for discussion. So the name of our movie this week is Primal Fear. It came out April 5th, 1996. We just came across the 30th anniversary of this. It is directed by Gregory Hoblit. This is actually his first film that he ever did. He is most known for this movie. Probably his most well-known is this movie. But he went on to direct movies like Fallen, which is, I love that movie, a personal favorite of mine. Again, probably shouldn't have watched it as a kid, but I did. Frequency, which is actually a pretty good movie. I love Frequency. That movie.
We had Frequency at the house.
Oh yeah, that's a great like PG-13 movie that is really good.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Heart's War, which is a good World War II courtroom drama, great movie. I think a lot of people missed out on it with Bruce Willis and Colin Farrell. And then Fracture with Ryan Gosling and Anthony Hopkins. That's his as well. And this movie, this movie was written by Steve Shagan and Ann Biederman, and it was based on a novel that came out in 92 or 93 by William Deal. And the cast of this movie is insanely good. Let me just go down this like murderer's row, no pun intended, of these casts. So we've got Richard Gere in here as Martin Vale, our lead character. Edward Norton stepping on this a little bit. This is his first role, his first major motion picture role here as Aaron Stampler. And we have Laura Linney as the prosecutor Jarrett Venable. John Mahoney, most people know him probably from Frasier, but he has been an actor in tons of movies, and he's been a good guy, bad guy. But he is the state's attorney, John Shaughnessy. Alfre Woodard in here as the judge, Judge Miriam Choate, who's wonderful. Frances McDormand is in here, just fresh off of well, not fresh, but she has Fargo this year too. So Frances McDormand's doing great. Terry O'Quinn, people might know him best as John Locke from Lost. Andre Braugher as Tommy Goodman, the investigator on Marty Vale's team. Most of you know him as Lieutenant or Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And then Maura Tierney as Naomi, an assistant of Martin Vale. She was on ER. That's probably her biggest role is on ER. Maura Tierney's great. Love her. And then there's some other people that you've probably seen in other like smaller movies or smaller roles in here that I didn't list out. So I apologize about them. But here's the synopsis if you didn't get a chance to check it out. Defense attorney Martin Vale takes on jobs for money and prestige rather than any sense of the greater good. His latest case involves an altar boy accused of brutally murdering the Archbishop of Chicago. Vale finds himself up against his ex-pupil and ex-lover, but as the case progresses and the church's dark secrets are revealed, Vale finds that what appeared as a simple case takes on a darker, more dangerous aspect. Now, this movie did pretty good. It had $30 million budget, and it made $102 million at the box office. Critics like this movie a lot. This one is pretty consistent across the board. Rotten Tomatoes has this at a 77%. IMDb has this at 7.7 out of 10. Letterboxd has this as a 4 out of 5 star. Roger Ebert loved this movie, gave it 3.5 stars out of 4. He said, the plot is as good as crime procedurals get, but the movie is really better than its plot because of the three-dimensional characters. He also said the best crime movies and novels are not about who did it or why. They're about the characters, how the characters feel about what happened. So I liked that. James Kendrick, I tried to find some negative reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. James Kendrick said, "This is an ambitious film, but also a somewhat muddled one." And this movie actually does have a little bit of a legacy because, as we said, this was Edward Norton's first role. He was actually nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in this. So 1-for-1 for the guy. Like, that's not bad. Not bad at all. But that's all the facts we have. So let's jump into some of our categories here and talk about some of the best scenes. And I don't mind if we go out of order or anything like that, because this one's there are some like good moments in this that aren't like huge scenes, but really good moments. So I'll start with you.
Well, I think I would start with the one that you mentioned already. The early murder scene. I feel like is done pretty well. Really starts the movie off. Like you said, the fingers are very like memorable.
Yeah.
It's a very memorable scene.
And that's like the most grisly thing we get to see.
Yeah.
But then we learn later, and like whenever the cops are there, like turning over the body and stuff, we get to see like all of what happened to this dude. And still, even then, we get more details from like a police report down the line where they were like, yeah, he cut off his genitals and all this. It's just like morbid stuff, like carved word or letters or numbers into his body, gouged out his eyes, slit his throat. Like, it's pretty gruesome.
I would say that for me, one of the things that has changed for me in like film watching from 96 till now, like if I'd have seen it then versus now, it's like, okay, the movie starts with, in my mind, they want me to think it's him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like that first scene, and so my spidey senses, my alarm bells were already going off, like, oh, it's not him. They just want it to look that way because how brutal it was, how dark, how chaotic for an opening scene. I mean, it's all over the place. And so then the next thing is him running covered in blood. So very like hooks you immediately.
And I think during that murder scene too, with the like choral, like the church like music that's going over, like just gives it more sinister vibes too. Like, this is a bigger way, a huge deal. I don't know. It just seems like super climactic is the best way to say it. Is like,
which I think like it may be doing it an injustice to call it the opening scene, because the choir and everything is like singing right before it, like you're saying, which makes it even more haunting. Like, you get to see him singing.
And like technically this isn't even the first scene, because like we get introduced to all of the characters very quickly, though. It's just like, here's Richard Gere, here is him introducing himself, Shaughnessy, the Archbishop, Janet. Like, we get everybody, even his assistants, like we get in the back scene, because he's doing an interview, and that interview I think is like really important as we go on through the movie. It honestly ends up being one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie. Is a scene with Richard Gere and the interviewer of this magazine. And even after it's so funny, because the scene I'm talking about, he is still interviewing or hanging out with this guy, but the article's already been published. Like, it's already in the magazine by that point. So I just think that's I love that scene, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, the opening scene is pretty good and pretty gruesome, in like a Seven sense, a little bit. Like,
brutal, chaotic, and then like him being chased by these very slow policemen.
Edward Norton's the fastest man alive.
Dude, I swear Will Smith is the fastest cop that's ever been played in a movie. Like, he's chasing that alien in Bad Boys and Men in Black. He's a fast cop. Like, every other movie, the cops are in like, in this one, they're in like trench coats, just jogging after this bloody guy.
And eventually, like, Edward Norton gives up. They find him in like a hole, like trembling. Yeah. Which, by the time you get to the end of the movie and you find out all of our things throughout, you're like, what was this guy thinking at the beginning of this movie? Did he just give up running and then was just like, well, I got to figure this out like on the fly, what I'm going to do here?
Yeah.
Or was it the whole plan?
If he would have kept going, he would have had him. So it's almost like he wanted to get caught.
Yeah. That's what I think too, because there are like these subtle moments in the movie where I'm like, it brings it on. So what's the next thing that pops out to you?
Aaron and Marty meeting for the first time. Interrogation. He's so, like Edward Norton plays Aaron. So, I think when we first get some dialogue from him, I was like, this sounds like Edward Norton trying to sound like Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Matthew McConaughey with a stutter.
Yes, it's perfect. That's a good.
I just don't know, sir. Like, just.
It's almost like the way he holds his mouth and the way he gets to his Southern accent. It's almost like he has something under his tongue.
Yeah,
like it just.
And so that's one of the big, pieces of watching this movie. So, not knowing anything, I watched this thinking. As soon as I, saw, and we'll get to him kind of changing a little bit, I was like, oh, there's American History X, Edward Norton. And I immediately was like, I'm going to wait till it's over to find out, was that before or after? And so then finishing the movie and finding out it's his debut, I'm really impressed with Edward Norton, even from the very beginning.
And now that you talk about it, I am curious to see like what his trajectory is, because like American History X come out like 98.
American History X is next.
Yeah. So like we go Primal Fear, American History X, Fight Club. Like that's a crazy start to somebody's career.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I can't believe that. Edward Norton should be the biggest actor in the world right now.
Like that's the fun aspect of this movie is that, it could be the prequel to Fight Club, as well as like the prequel to Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh yeah. That's good. I like that.
Also, I saw somebody I think on Letterboxd that was like, also this could be the prequel to Hulk.
Oh yeah.
He has a lot of personality disorders.
So he has 2 this year, or he actually has 3 movies come out this year. This one's his debut. We're gonna do another one in 2 weeks. People versus Larry Flint, which I'm eager to see that one. I think he plays a lawyer in that one. He has a Woody Allen movie that I didn't do this year. Rounders and American History X in 98.
Man,
and then Fight Club.
Rounders, man.
Yeah. And he's good in Rounders.
He's so good in Rounders is a great movie. If you like poker, you like Rounders.
Which goes at like I feel like over the years we've heard a lot about Edward Norton and how difficult he is. I think that came out really big whenever he was the Hulk. I think they had a lot of problems with him being the Hulk, and then they ended up recasting him with Mark Ruffalo, and so I think he's like a very difficult person to work with because he gets a little method and he does all the annoying things that actors do that we always hear about in the news. But like, what a career this guy's had. And then like him hooking up with like Wes Anderson kind of in the middle of it, like with Moonrise Kingdom and everything, like that's a perfect place for him to live, is in Wes Anderson land. And
man, I loved him in Moonrise Kingdom. What a career.
Oh, Edward Norton. I'm looking at his filmography right now. There are some just great movies on here from even up till, he was in the Bob Dylan movie a couple years ago. He was fantastic in that movie. Glass Onion, the sequel. He's good and arrogant and everything that is probably not even a character for him. That's probably just how he acts. Like,
man, there's a movie with him and Colin Farrell where they're like playing brothers or partners that are cops.
Pride and Glory. I just pulled it up.
Dude, when I feel like it's either him or Colin Farrell that holds an iron to a baby, like he's like trying to interrogate somebody and get some information, and he holds an iron. It stands out to me as one of the more intense things I've seen in a movie that wasn't like gruesome or gnarly. He's just like holding this baby in his arm, like, tell me, with an iron.
Jeez. That's nuts.
Yeah, Edward Norton's had a great career. And then I know you and I both remember the first time we saw American History X. Different movie.
Man,
Different movie.
what a movie to come out like just after
Woo.
this. Like that's a pretty intense movie. You haven't
He could
seen
have
it?
easily been known as like the skinhead for the rest of his career.
Oh yeah. Could have ruined him.
Yeah.
Could have been typecasted. I mean,
like Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Like apparently he's had a hard time getting cast because he was so he was so good at his job.
He's so good.
Yeah, that nobody wants to cast him.
I love it. But yes, we get to see Aaron in this first interview with Marty, and Marty is basically like, I'm your lawyer now. I'm gonna, take this on pro bono. Doesn't really give him any reasoning. He just kind of lets Aaron stutter through a lot of it, and he's like, I'm gonna buy you a suit. And at this point, I had this written in my notes whenever I was watching it. He says something about, he's like, you have a suit? I'll buy you a suit. And Aaron smiles at him as he's leaving, and I thought it was kind of a suspicious smile. I was just like, this guy knows he's got a ringer on his hands. Like, he knows he's got a good lawyer on his hands that's gonna.
Man, can you imagine too having the kind of job where you're watching the news, you see a priest as murdered, and you're like, gotta go. I gotta go do this for free.
For free, not get paid anything.
God, I don't want to be famous that bad that I'm like rushing to a crime scene so I can like meet the guy, so I can represent him for free.
And we've done a lot of talking about Edward Norton in this movie. I love Richard Gere in this movie. I think he is perfectly cast. Like, I think he is so good.
Cocky lawyer.
Yes, the cocky lawyer thing. And that's all we get at the beginning of this. But as the movie like goes on and he learns a little bit more about Aaron and investigates the case some, like you see him soften a little bit, even in the moments when he's with gosh, what's her name? What is her name?
Venable.
Janet Venable. Like, we see him soften a little bit. We get to see this interior of him that is, that he's not showing. Even
he does all that talking, like especially when he's at the bar. He's always like, it doesn't matter if they're guilty. It doesn't matter if they're innocent. You're there to do the job. And you see that like mantra that he's spitting out repeatedly start to break apart, where he's like, damn, this kid may be innocent.
Yeah. And we see like a little bit of his softness, even when he's talking to that guy who we don't know anything about. And I didn't put it as any of my scenes, but it's like this side plot thing with this like gangster guy who's trying to help out his community and protect his community. But the cops and the state attorneys don't like this guy, and
beat him up.
They beat him up, and they, settled with him, and they want him to get out of town. And he's like, I'm not leaving. I don't feel like that's like super important in this movie. I do think it helps build something maybe if we were trying to redo this movie whenever we get to that. But you see him have like, he cares about that client, even if he knows he's a criminal. And I think there's like,
that's what it is, man. I meant to go back and look and see what that guy, like he was so familiar. Did you go and look and see what he's in?
Scarface? Is that what it is?
Scarface.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like the judge. The judge in the court. I was like, who is that? Didn't we do Love and Basketball?
We haven't done Love and Basketball yet.
Yeah.
But she's great. Alfre Woodard's amazing. She was in Crooklyn.
Man, what a cast. I'm glad I'm glad you took the time on the cast that you did, because man, it's thick.
Yeah. Amazing. It's almost like going back in it's like Shawshank or something. Like, you see all these guys and you're like, man, what a cast here. Like, even the little guys are really, really good actors. So, which I think adds to this movie.
What am I thinking of? What basketball movie did we do?
What basketball movie did we do? Above the rim.
I don't know. I'll look it up. Don't worry.
Yeah,
about
what basketball movie did we do?
it. I feel like we did. Maybe I'm just thinking of Basketball Diaries.
Oh yeah, Basketball
I
Diaries.
feel like we did. Maybe I'm thinking Poetic Justice.
She was in Crooklyn, which we did, which is a Spike Lee movie. She was also, I think that's the only one we've done on the podcast with her.
Okay.
Is that one? Oh, Blue Chips. Did you watch Blue Chips?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking. And
she's
then there's I'm also I could be thinking Above the Rim. Hoop Dreams. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, but that was a documentary. She's not in that.
Hoop Dreams?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just getting Love and Basketball and Hoop
Confused,
Dreams.
yeah.
Yeah. What's your next scene though? Yeah, to bring
my next scene is it's so hard because I had the psych evaluation, but which is split up into like 4 different scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Where like she starts evaluating him and then she gets that moment where he says, I wrote it down even. He's like, how do I get this camera to work? And like Aaron breaks and says, how the fuck should I know? And which is like something completely out of character for Aaron to do. And so that's our first instance. And like the scene cuts right then and there. So we don't get anything more with the a psych evaluation, and for like we get these other splits of things. But the real big scene with the psych evaluation that I have is when Marty comes in after finding out, or like having their first day of court and opening statements, all that stuff. And Aaron has underlined parts of the book, The Scarlet Letter. And Marty's like, did you underline that book? Comes in and accusing him. Did you underline that passage in that book?
That's my next scene.
And he's like, no, I didn't do that. I don't even like Hawthorne. Like, which I'm just like, come on, guy. Like, we get it. You've read a lot of books. You hayseed, like, get out of here. But then like he keeps pushing on Aaron, and then we get Roy.
Yeah. We get our first full, like that's why it's my next scene is like we get introduced to Roy. And one of my favorite things that he says, like one of the first things he said is like, you scared Aaron off.
You scared Aaron off.
Yeah.
He's somewhere crying like a baby.
In the corner, yeah.
In the corner, yeah. He sends me. He comes crying and I come out. That's the thing. So we get introduced to this character this personality.
Well, he's been talking about losing time and like blacking out. So it's been building to where it's like you wonder what that means. And then when he switches for the first full time, it's like, oh, that's what losing time means.
Yeah. Is this split personality disorder. And he comes out of there and Roy beats him up. He gives him a cut on his eye after he slams him into the window. And so now, after thinking he's lost this case, some revelation comes out with this now Roy who's here, and Aaron is suddenly innocent in his eyes, couldn't possibly have done this to this person because he suffered years of abuse at his father, under the priest's hand. I think this also, like the tape, he finds that videotape, which gives them motive. Because they didn't have motive. They were like, why would this kid do this to this priest? And then they find this videotape that has the priest who's killed making these teenagers, 19-year-olds, have sex with one another.
That's how he gets rid of his demons.
I had that written down too. I had it in my I don't know if I had it in my WTF.
I got a big question for you.
Yeah.
So when Marty goes in and gets the tape, do you think he just struck gold and like picked the right one, or were all of those VHSs like Dennis's drawer?
I feel like
he pulled a specific one.
Yeah, he pulled a specific one and changed the label over. I wonder if when Tommy and him chased down Alex, if Alex was like, this was the videotape. But we didn't see that, right? He didn't say, I think there's probably something cut that says like.
So my big question is like, are all the tapes sex tapes?
Maybe.
Or did he just get a specific one?
I tend to think it was a specific one because he says in there he's like that he kept recording over it
Yeah.
over and over. So I think it's just on
yes.
one.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. You're right.
I think it's just on the
They
one.
must have gotten that info from Alex.
Yes, I think he gets that info from Alex. I think we're supposed to infer that because they do not. I don't believe he says anything about like it's this label or anything. No, I don't think so. But yeah, Alex, who is the side character that is also in the videotape having sex with Linda, who is this other. This is what's her or not Roy, but Aaron's girlfriend is Linda. Which we get a throwaway line about her at the very end of this movie.
Yeah.
Crazy. So yeah, we have this whole blow up, and now there's a light bulb that goes off in Marty's mind. He's like, "Oh, we've got a chance, but I've got to spin this." And
it did make me wonder how they would deal with that in a real court system. If you were just like, this tape, like, because it's obviously illegal for him to go get the tape the way he did. It would totally like be omitted from the case because he did it that way. But like, I wonder how a real court like deals with like, well, yeah, this videotape just landed on my doorstep. If they allow that stuff into a real trial.
Yeah, there's a lot with the trial stuff that is part of the reason why I'm like, this movie just doesn't work anymore for me. And I think it's great. I think the story's good and like everything. It
worked great in 96.
Yes, I think it worked so well in 96. And I just think that we are too ingrained in the we know too much now.
I've seen too much CSI.
Yeah, we really have. Yeah. And we've seen too many things. And like in my mind, I'm like, oh, wouldn't they check all those tapes? Wouldn't they like
Oh yeah, as soon as like one tape showed up, every tape in his apartment would
check them all.
Yeah.
Why would they even check for that like that book, that specific book or that section? It's so like I don't know. It was a little confusing there too with it. If you're investigating books, why wouldn't you investigate like the tapes?
I think as younger people were both like, oh, okay, that's just how courts work. You know? We don't question it at all at a younger age, or maybe at a time where less information of it is available. But now it's like, oh, it wouldn't happen like that.
Yeah, and I think that we are also there are too many YouTube videos from actual lawyers or judges that do those like that specific series. Like, would this be a real way to? Is this what court is really like? Would this pass in court? Could they do this? There's so many of those videos out there. I bet there's one about this somewhere.
Well, and like even Brooklyn Nine-Nine again, like I know from that show, even the realism of that show, as silly as it is, where they put tape on like a crime scene door now.
Oh yeah, so people don't.
It's sealed. Like you can't go in there or everybody knows.
Yeah.
Probably because of lawyers like Richard Gere.
Yeah.
Like Marty.
And his little investigator, Andre Brower, just like walking around doing stuff for him.
The retired cop.
It's great. It's so good. Yeah. He's great. I love Tommy in this. So yeah, we get Roy, and now we have this big spin on everything. They're going to introduce this tape, or he doesn't want to introduce the tape, so he tricks Janet into submitting the tape, even though her boss told her to burn the tape because it accuses the Catholic Church of being sexual predators. Like that's crazy. Like we don't need that to happen here.
Well, I think that what's really important, and I'm glad we're kind of sticking on like getting to see Roy for the first time in the psych evaluation, because not only does it show Molly and Marty like, oh shit, this dude has multiple personality disorder, it also shows them how to get him there.
Yes.
Which is
you got to push him. You just got to keep like pushing him.
Yeah.
Which is very important because it does come up later in the movie in how they win this case down the line. So
that's what's so interesting about the tape is like it's motive for Aaron, but it's also the nail in the coffin for the Archbishop. So it's like a double-edged sword for both sides.
It's good.
Good writing.
What is your next scene? My next scene is the one at the bar with the reporter.
Then we need to stick with you. Then mine's the courtroom outburst.
Courtroom. Okay. Yeah. And the scene, the only reason it's not a big scene at all. But Marty at the bar and the reporter that he's been talking to throughout the whole movie comes in. And I think that at this point we get the biggest reveal of who Marty is as a person. He's drunk and he's in there and he's like, ask me the question that you want to ask me. Like, why do I defend the criminals that I defend, even if I know they're guilty? And I think even during this time, he's like, oh, is it for the fame? Is it for the, so I can get rich, or so I can be on every magazine? Or do I say, and I'm going to go ahead and ruin my quote here with it because I think it's super important in this. And he even jokes. He's like, you ever go to Vegas? Like, why gamble with money when you can gamble with people's lives? And he says, like, that's not it. He says, I believe in the notion that people are innocent until proven guilty. I believe in the notion because I choose to believe in the basic goodness of people. I choose to believe that not all crimes are committed by bad people. And I try to understand that some very, very good people do some very bad things. And I think that is like that line right there gets us to the core of who Marty is and what he saw, because we learned throughout the movie that he used to work for Shaughnessy, who is the big state's attorney guy, and that his ex-girlfriend Janet still works for. And he's like, you got to get out of there. I got out of there because I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't keep doing their business, couldn't keep, going after people that didn't deserve it. And I think that gives us a lot more on Marty than anything.
I agree with you to some extent, but it's like, it's secondary, like it's like in the chase of fame and popularity and the big cases, he has run into people worse than him.
Yeah.
Shaughnessy and those people. And so in the kind of gross pursuit of being a top public defender or the prosecutor, I think he's realized like, oh, at times these people are even worse than I am and try to put innocent people away. So even as scummy as Marty is, he doesn't want to be involved with them.
Yeah. And I agree with you too, because I still think he loves the fame. I still think he loves the money and the attention, and he loves playing the games. Like, I think it is everything that he listed out to that guy, even saying like, why gamble with money when you can gamble with people's life? I think he has a little bit of like a thing for that. Yeah. And when we get him at the end of the movie and the way that the movie just ends on him, like us centering on him after he's essentially, he didn't lose in the courtroom, but he got beat mentally after the
horrifying.
Yeah. Which is the biggest, like the saddest part of this movie is like, you root for Marty the entire time because you think, oh, okay, he's turning over a new leaf. He's helping Aaron. He sees that Aaron is a troubled kid who has a split personality. And then when that reveal happens at the end of the movie and he got, it's just like, oh, shoot.
He manipulates the system, which is my next scene, the court outburst, by instead of changing the plea to insanity, which he can't do in this movie for some reason.
Thank you.
he makes them like you wouldn't find out in the process somebody's insane. Like you have to know they're insane initially.
Yeah.
Like that's my we'll get to that. We'll talk about that more soon. But like I do it within the reality of the movie. It is like this kind of like IQ play or this brilliant move for him to just like trigger Marty in the courtroom. I don't think from his interaction with Janet the rest of the movie that he wanted her to attack her.
Right.
I think he wanted to see more of just like what he saw when he was Molly was doing the psych evaluation. But he gives them exactly what they need, jumps over the stand, puts Janet in a headlock. And I love just the lack of reality of like the judge just being like, I'm going home. Like,
Yeah.
he just attacked you. We're like a cigarette distance in between. Attack, you smoked a cigarette. It's like, all right, this shit's over. I'm going home. Like, just takes off her fucking gown and go and leave.
And they're just like, oh no, nobody will touch this. Nobody will try and retry this with a 10-foot pole. I'm doing a mistrial. I'm going home. Like, it just ends so suddenly. They're just like,
attacked a lawyer. What do you mean nobody will touch him with a 10-foot pole?
and how does that immediately? And I am with you on like nitpicking this a little, but like, how does that immediately just be like, oh, he's got split personalities?
Yeah,
He didn't say, like, maybe Aaron just,
Man,
they don't know any of this information.
after this movie, after 1996. Like, even if you had multiple personality disorder, they were like, he can't be trusted.
Yeah, he can't be just like, we can't do that. And yeah, so essentially he just gets off on this technicality that he just attacks a lawyer, and he's got split personalities, and it's like, yeah, they'll probably send you to the crazy the loony bin for 30 days, but you'll probably be out.
You'll be out in a month after attacking a lawyer in a courtroom.
After admitting to murdering somebody too. That's the biggest thing. Like, he said he did it. Like, we get that revelation. He did it.
And then my final scene is the reveal.
Man, how did you? Okay, the reveal. The big reveal is that Aaron and Roy is all just made up.
There never was an Aaron.
There never was an Aaron.
I love that line. So there never was a Roy, and he's like, no, there never was an Aaron.
That's good. How did you feel? Because I knew the twist.
Got me. Like, I thought it was over, and I think rightfully so. The more I've read about it, I thought it was over. But yeah, when he was like, tell her I said sorry about her neck, I was like, oh shit. I felt the exact same way the first time I saw Usual Suspects.
Yeah.
It really is like that last 2 minutes. There's a lot of movies that have twists in them, but it's not that late in the movie.
Yeah.
Got me. And I was like, in that moment, I was like, no wonder you got cast for Fight Club. No wonder you got cast for American History X. Because in that moment at the end where he's all Roy and does the slow clap, I'm like, oh my God, there's Tyler Durden. Like, doing the laugh and everything. I was like, man, no wonder you ended up where you went, because the people were writing that stuff and then saw this and probably were like, that guy. Yeah. But more Nazi, more racist.
Let's make it more racist. This is probably the first time in a movie, especially when I was young, that I had ever seen a twist. This is before Sixth Sense. I didn't watch Usual Suspects until I was like in high school, later than that. So like, this blew my little child mind as a kid. Like, I'm just like, holy cow, he was lying the entire time. This is all fake. Like, what's going on?
Which takes us back to where we started. It's like, damn, he wanted to get caught.
Yeah.
He wanted this. Was like a performance.
And that's what I was saying. Like, that moment when he smiles after he says, I'll buy you a suit or whatever. I'm like, oh, he knew. I've got this guy hook, line, and sinker. He is a sleaze bag that I can get to do my bidding. And he even says it like, hey, man, when you said that, like, come on, you little girl or whatever, like, I thought we were dancing, Marty. We were dancing. That's what he says to him as he reveals that he was like, I thought you knew.
Well, and I would say even more so for me than Usual Suspects. We'll talk about it more when we get to rewatchability, but it's more like Sixth Sense, where it's like, I want to go back and look for stuff like you're talking about, where it's like, did I just miss it? And it was there the whole time. And I think you're exactly right that there's little nods of like, it's always Roy.
Yeah. It's always just been Roy the whole time. Yeah, it does make it a little bit more rewatchable. I don't know if there's as many of those as like we get in Sixth Sense. Like Sixth Sense, you go back, you look at all the red items, and you're like, oh my god, he was really doing the whole time. Yeah, so I think there's like a 2 or 3 rewatchability with like Sixth Sense. I think there's like layers on layers of things that is in it, but man, blows you like. You don't expect it. You're like, oh yeah, he just got off. It's multiple personality disorder. And then they're just like, hey, let me rip this away from you in the last 2 minutes.
Super glad that I didn't even know there was a twist at all.
Yeah.
Like wasn't expecting anything.
And that's where I was like, man, I really wish I could have watched this with somebody who'd never seen it before. So I'm glad that you had that response and reaction to it.
You know, I'm going to be honest, because since we're getting there, like not my favorite movie.
No,
not my favorite. And like overall rating, we'll get to like, I would argue that most of the movie that Edward Norton's not in, I didn't feel the same way about Richard Gere as you did. And I just felt like it was really slow. I think watching stuff on Pluto, you can probably relate. Like with those long ass ads in between.
Ads ruin Pluto, man.
Yeah, like that really slowed it down, I think, for me. It's already a 2 hour and 10-minute movie.
Yeah.
Like a lot of courtroom, lot of Marty and Janet that I just felt like was underdeveloped.
I think the side plot stuff.
I don't think they needed to be lovers. It could have been like his student, somebody he worked with. They didn't have to. We'll get to that more here shortly.
Yeah. Next thing, you need to steal your brother's Criterion, so you could have watched this commercial free.
Oh, hey, yeah, dude.
There you go. Just steal it, bro.
Just steal it in general.
Just steal it. All right.
First, I know where to get it from.
So, who was your favorite character in this? Or
it had to be Aaron / Roy.
Yeah.
For me, I really, I see after watching it raw and then seeing like debut and being like, wow, seeing the potential for the future movies he was going to be in. It's got to be Aaron / Roy for me. I think he played it perfectly.
To just come out on the scene, announce yourself as I'm Edward Norton. I'm just incredible at acting. Yeah, I think he is the
man. So be that young and scoop a role that Leo turned down.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's crazy. I also like I said, I have this like newfound love for that Richard Gere character. Like I think he's doing so good, and I liked Marty.
Yeah.
As he's our central point of this whole thing, I kind of loved him. The main 3 characters in this movie, I was just like, y'all are going for it, and I liked all of them. And in little ways, their performances might shine a little bit better on a rewatch thing. But I agree with you on 99% of what you said there.
It's like Richard Gere's character could have been some of the other. I know it's different because it was sports law and like contracts and stuff. It like worked in Jerry Maguire's office.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
A bunch of ass lawyers.
Yeah. He would have worked definitely. Let's move over to our quotes, our favorite quotes of this movie. Any lines that stick out with for you?
Yeah, I don't have too many at all. Like I think I have 3. But one of them is like early in the movie, like in the very first minutes of it, where I don't remember what he says before. It wasn't as zinger-ish to me, but if you want justice, go to a whorehouse. If you want to get fucked, go to court.
Yeah, I had that one as well. That's a
good one. Yeah. Do you remember? Did you write down what he said before that? There was
he says, on my first day of law school, my professor says 2 things. First was, from this day forward, when your mother tells you she loves you, get a second opinion. And then he says, if you want justice, go to a whorehouse. If you want to get fucked, go to court.
Do you think he means justice like there's going to be a girl there named Justice?
That would be very funny, too. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, you see justice, too? Me, too. What else?
And then straight to the very end of the movie, I love the way that Roy says, there never was an Aaron counselor.
There never was an Aaron counselor.
Yeah, yeah. The counselor at the end was with the slow clap
Mm-hmm.
was real good.
It's good.
Then the only other one I've got is I keep more people out of jail than most judges keep in.
Ooh, I did not have that one. That's a good line.
Yeah.
I liked when Janet is going after Aaron to get him to like break into Roy. She says, "Do you know what I would do if someone did that to me?" Talking about like the sexual abuse. She says, "I would kill him. I wouldn't hesitate. I would stab him 78 times. I would chop off his fingers, slash his throat open, carve numbers in his chest, gouge out his eyes. I swear to God." But that's
That
me.
was a pretty good Laura Linney.
I swear to God. But that's me. And she ends it that way. I loved her delivery on that.
Laura Linney.
Laura Linney. What else do I have here? I have where she says, Janet, another Janet line. She says, "It was a one-night stand, Marty. It just lasted 6 months."
Yeah, that is a good one.
And then also like throughout the whole movie, and I think it does not work, especially at the end of the movie, him like flirting with her the whole time, like turn around, face me, all this stuff. Even in the bar, he's like, you quit and then we'll go out and all this stuff. And she says, "How can your timing be so good in the courtroom and so bad in real life?" Like this man just does not get it.
He's good at being a lawyer and nothing else.
Yes, that's it. That's true. And then also whenever he first meets Aaron in solitary confinement, he says, "I speak, you do not speak. Your job is to sit there and look innocent." That's your whole thing. And that's that first meeting with him. And it just gives us more of like who Marty is as a lawyer. He's like, "I know how to handle people like you, murderers, all this stuff. I just got to figure out how to get there." So, all right, biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill in the movie?
I mean, I would say the closest that I would probably ever get to crying in this movie is just Aaron, whether he's manipulating Marty or not, when they're discussing the abuse. I mean, Edward Norton does a great job of seeming like a kid who doesn't want to talk about this awful thing that's happened to. Like that seems very real, and
Yeah.
that hit a little too close to home, even though we find out later that it was all a performance. It's still in that moment was a little like, this hurts.
Did you feel here? Did this piss you off whenever they have Frances McDormand on the stand, like Laura Linney trying to discredit her as a psychological professional, and she's like, "No, I just do neuropsychology," and she's like, "Oh, so you don't do any forensic stuff? You don't understand the mind?" I was like,
it's true though. Like there are specialties for that reason. Just because I'm a therapist or counselor, call it what you want, doesn't mean I could like step to a crime scene and be like, okay, you know, like neuropsychology is very different than forensic psychology. And the few people that I've met that work in forensic psychology are fucking insane. So they want to be in a room with a murderer, like just picking their brain apart.
Jeez.
Which that you can save that for somebody else.
let me get that person on here.
Man, I'd say the scare would be that first time he slips into Roy. You had it. You said it. What does he say to her with the camera? How the
fuck should I know?
Yeah, that was kind of
And then he watches it like,
because I wasn't. You have to remember, I'm watching Raw. Like I didn't know where it was going. I thought it was going to end up being like, Shaughnessy and stuff like that were going to be the ones that were in the room killing him and stuff like that. So the first switch to Roy, I was like, oh, so that's where we're headed.
Yeah, it's good. How the fuck should I know? Anything else on this section?
The thrill of the ending.
Yeah, the thrill. That reveal.
Would be my thrill for sure.
God, I just want it like your heart just sinks a little bit. Like, oh my God, like I got the whole time. This guy confused me.
I think it is. I mean, maybe you know more about it than me. Like, if that's real, right? So, say you get done with the trial, and the lawyer does, like, the client then is like, "Haha, I got you, bitch! I did it." Can you do anything?
I don't think so, because I think like unlike, I feel like the client
The
attorney
client.
privilege.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's kind of screwed in that sense. Like,
That would haunt me forever.
forever. He's messed him up forever.
Yeah.
Like, that
Which-
guy's done. My career's done. I just won the career or like case of my lifetime, and my career's done.
Which I wanna skip to the music moment real quick, and then I need to go get the charger.
Oh,
But
yeah, you're
because
good.
that takes us right to my perfect music moment, which is like the aftermath of him finding out. It's just this like dark, moody orchestra that's like so perfect for, oh shit,
Yeah.
I just got a fucking murderer off. It is perfect music. Like, I didn't go look up what it was or anything like that, but that ending music is so moody. It
Yes.
is so like melancholy and kind of dark, but yeah, it's perfect.
It's good. It's the guy that did the score. His name's James Newton Howard, and that part where he's like da 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 da. It's like it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. I did want to say I had a biggest laugh part, which is this movie's not very funny at all. But one of the side plots they have is with this gangster named Joey Panero, and Joey Panero is walking Martin around his neighborhood and everything. And he's like, see this lot here? This used to be houses. In fact, there was the house over there on the corner where I kissed my first girlfriend. Got her pregnant too. And Marty responds with, hell of a kiss, Joey, which I thought was super funny. There was another part in the music, going back to the music part of it, where I think it was after Frances McDormand testifies, and there is like this saxophone horn section of it, and it makes it feel like it's like a 1940s detective movie, and like we're in this like noir. There should be like somebody talking. Yeah, it feels like that, and I'm like, that's a weird placement for it, but I really liked it. I don't. The score was good. It was very subtle at times, but yeah, whenever we get that reveal at the end, it really hits too.
Yeah, that dude, you know, to get somebody pregnant with a kiss, he must have gone to Harding.
Yeah.
Those Harding kisses, man.
Hey, man, watch out. All right, let's get into our what the fucks, because I think this movie's full of them.
Yeah. I think that's what we're talking about, right? Is the 96 view, or versus now, there's just maybe too many holes.
The trial, it as a whole, is super unbelievable. Like, I think that like getting off on the technicality and the way that they did, like, that's unbelievable to me. I think that the way like he gets him to attack and discounting, like, and then also like the part where he's trying to accuse Shaughnessy of the judge just dismisses it, and I'm like, I don't think so, because he's establishing that the guilt could be somewhere else, which puts reasonable doubt, which helps his client. And I was like, that would absolutely be admissible in court. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, and like we talked about, like, you can totally change your plea.
Yeah, you can do. I was like, that was weird when I was watching it this time, and I was like, can you change your plea mid-trial? Yes, you absolutely can.
Also, another thing for me that was kind of what the fuck, and I looked it up, but like literal multiple personality disorder.
Oh yeah, that's the big one.
Is like 1% of the population. Like, there's as many people with multiple personality disorders as there are billionaires.
Yeah. I was talking to Alyssa about this because you both have like your psych backgrounds and everything. She was telling me that it's so rare, and the reason it's so rare is because there are only like 2 or like a handful of psychologists out there who are even willing to diagnose it. And they're the only ones that diagnose somebody with whatever it is, dissociative identity disorder is what I think it's called. But it's that rare. Like, it's just completely implausible for him to have another personality.
Typically when it does present, it's not just 2 personalities.
Yeah.
That's another thing that would like trigger me to think like, oh, you're faking if it was only two.
Yeah.
And if it was very like Roy and Aaron are still similar enough. Like a lot of times with multiple personalities, they are very different.
Yeah, it would just be like that person would be diagnosed as like bipolar or bipolar 1, bipolar 2 at this point. Like you wouldn't necessarily jump to.
I would say a more realistic view of it would be Split.
Yeah.
James McAvoy. Like you'll think you're a woman. Like it's not just like, oh, I'm aggressive now.
Yeah, it's just here's my aggressive version. This is
I'm
harsh Cody
cursing now.
Harsh Cody's here. Like
I'm harsh Aaron.
I'm harsh Aaron. It is so yeah. I always feel weird when I see it in movies. Like it's so rare. How could this be the diagnosis? Exactly. It's very rare, and it is one of those classic movie tropes that we get. Though we see this with amnesia a lot. It's easy to be like, oh, I've forgotten everything, but amnesia doesn't always work that way, and it's usually short term, and it's not like they forget and then they have to relearn their entire life all over again. In the way that
it's your name.
And you don't forget some of that. So amnesia, split personality.
I feel like Joey gets bonked on the head in Full House and he just like forgets everything. Like,
oh, there is that episode of Full House where Michelle gets amnesia.
That's what it is.
She falls off the horse and they're like, I remember that episode so much because she's like, you guys hug a lot. It's because we're a family. And then by the end of the show, she hugs them and she remembers everything. She's like, I'm Michelle.
I'm glad you remembered that.
Oh, I remember that one. It's almost like the goiter episode of Home Improvement. It sticks. It's just up here forever.
Standout episode.
Yeah. So the trial. I also put down Marty flirting with Janet after getting attacked.
Dude, every time he does the like, do you want to dance? It's weird. So weird. It's so unnecessary.
Like, this
so
woman
weird.
was just accosted. She had a chokehold put on her, and you're like, "Let's dance, baby." He like puts his hand on. I hated it. I was just like, this does not work for me.
Yeah, that does not fit.
And even in the scene, like she seems a little bit like taken by it, and then like says, "You just lost me my job." Like that's the whole thing. I hated it. I hated that whole thing.
Well, and insane or not, like he still can't attack her in a courtroom. Like she could sue him for assault.
Oh, yeah.
So. Yeah, there's a lot of ridiculous in this movie, and it mostly revolves around the trial just being so unrealistic.
Just so unrealistic. And also like the little things that we mentioned, like Tommy going and just breaking into the crime scene, just pulling out the tape, replacing all that. Like that's not gonna happen at all. Also, my name goes to this, my so many cigarettes, so little time. It's not necessarily like a ridiculous thing. It is funny though. Every time Laura Linney lights up a cigarette, she gets like one puff maybe in a cigarette and then puts them all out. I swear she goes through a whole pack in this movie of just like one puff cigarettes.
Oh man, it made me want a cigarette so bad.
She's so good. All right, so no F, Marry, Kill. There was enough F, marrying, and killing in this movie. I asked you earlier, I sent this ahead of time. Could this movie be made today, and how would it have to be changed for 2026? We've already bounced around it a little bit.
I do think it could be remade. I think that you almost have to embrace the darkness a little bit more. You got to get rid of the like the love aspect between Marty and Janet. That's just silly. I think you could make the Archbishop's crimes more like there were like, I like the way that they brought in the guy. They didn't touch on it for very long, that had complained about the Archbishop in the past. Thing, bringing in more victims and stuff like that. Just embrace the darkness of it. The problem is you would have to twist it different.
Yeah.
You know? And my brain's not smart enough for stuff like that. I think that it could be done, but
I almost wonder, and I don't know if you ever seen the movie Fallen? I wonder if you just like bring a supernatural aspect into it,
yeah,
like a demon kind of thing.
yeah, I think that could work too.
Which might be elite, or what you said about Split. Like, let's just up the ante. Let's get
Ooh, yeah, that's a
some
good-
more personalities in here.
at least 3 or 4. And then I like the maybe the concept with a newer one of leaving it open ended, like we were talking about with the smile. Just like, was he faking
Yeah.
ending versus tying it in a bow?
I also thought it might be interesting if he made up the entire, like, had this planned from like the beginning. He really was just like a sadistic sicko and like faked the whole sexual stuff with the priest and like framed the priest instead and
You got the mind for
like
it.
developed some of this stuff. Like that was one that I had early on. I was like, I don't know if it'll work, but like, yeah, the reason I asked this is because, because we are much more knowledgeable about psychological disorders, especially ones like this one that we've been every time like United States of Terror comes out, Split comes out, every time we see some pundit be like, this isn't actually that common and this wouldn't happen this way. So I feel like we're smarter in 2026 than we were 30 years ago to be like, nope, can't happen. Unbelievable. We're not even going to do this anymore.
Well, typically, and I could be wrong, from my understanding, like most of the time, the split personalities or multiple personalities are not normally violent.
Yeah.
It's not like you, like we were saying with Aaron and Roy, it's not like you switch and maybe you're like less polite and more rude, right? Like I have less manners, but it's not like you switch personalities and like, I'm a murderer now.
Yeah.
But like I do think this is more like it could be based in like trauma disorientation like afterwards, and like I like the idea of him splitting into personalities that like don't even come back again.
Ooh,
like we just see him one time. There's a lot of, I think to answer the question, definitely could be remade.
Which will get us down to our last one. Best performance in the movie.
I really like, I thought Laura Linney did pretty good, but Edward Norton definitely deserved the nomination, and it's cool to see early him, and because I don't know if I would ever watch this movie otherwise. So cool to see early American History X and Fight Club Edward Norton.
It's good. He's so good. He deserves it. And like the career he got after because of something like this. Like I bet there are so many guys out there that are kicking them. Like I wonder if Leo's kicking himself a little bit. Like, oh man, that would have been a good one for me. Or
I mean, it sounds like everybody was trying to get this job.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you gave a little shine to Laura Linney. I think she deserves it. I feel like we don't give enough love to Laura. Like she's never been in a role that has been like, oh my God, that Laura Linney movie. I got to go see that. So it's nice for her to like pop up. And
is it her? And no, she's not Cold Mountain, right? That's Renee.
That's Renee Zellweger. Yeah.
I get them confused sometimes.
But her in Ozark, like when she came, The Truman Show is another one that I love. Yeah. But a lot of people go to Ozark for old Laura. She's great though. And let's see. All right, recasting. If you could recast this for 96, 2026, who would you do?
Man, I insist on Denzel Washington being Martin Vale.
I had the same thing. I was like, there is a very fine like group of people that could pull off Martin Vale. I think Richard Gere's good. I think Denzel could do the exact same. Philadelphia, when we watched Philadelphia, it gave me those vibes.
Well, and then with the twist aspect, if you recast this with Denzel as Marty in 96, then this and Inside Man are a perfect pairing.
Inside Man.
That's why I almost want him in this role, because he's that cocky cop. And Inside Man of like, I can figure this out. and get straight duped. For Aaron / Roy, it would have been cool to see young Matt Damon, Leo.
Are you in my mind?
It would have been cool to see Leo do it, especially with what we've been watching. Over the last couple years,
Yeah.
we've been building in Leo's career. I think the last one we did was Basketball Diaries.
Mm-hmm.
So like pretty good fit after that one for this. I also think young Jake Gyllenhaal, like Donnie Darko days of Jake Gyllenhaal, could have been cool to see as Aaron.
He would be good in this. Again, I always point with Jake Gyllenhaal. I always point to Nightcrawler. If you've never seen Nightcrawler,
oh, dude,
he is incredible in Nightcrawler.
He's so good, and what a good concept for a movie.
Yeah, if you that's one for everybody who's watching or anything. If you haven't seen Nightcrawler, go watch it. You will be skeeved out, but it's so good. He's great.
And also, isn't it him and Tobey Maguire in Brothers?
Brothers, yeah.
Ooh, man, that's another that could an Aaron Roy. I would love to see young Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire, he would be the same age as Leo. So yeah. I had Sam Rockwell too, young Sam Rockwell.
Good one.
But yeah, Matt Damon and Denzel were my 1 and 2.
So then you beat me to tell me we've got the same one for Janet too.
I didn't cast anybody for Janet.
Ooh, Sandra Bullock, baby.
Ooh, Sandy would be good.
Yeah.
She was hard. Laura Linney has such a unique style that I felt like it was a little hard to figure out who I could put in that role. But Sandra Bullock would be good. Did you do 2026?
I sure did.
Nice.
For Marty, I got Oscar Isaac.
Okay. Oh, I like that.
I'd like to see him as a lawyer. We've seen so much, like he's been in Frankenstein, he's done Star Wars. I'd like to see him in a fucking courtroom.
And he's got that cocky thing to him too, even if it's like Llewyn Davis. He's a cocky folk singer there. There's something else I'm trying to think of that he is super cocky. Star Wars, he's cocky in that.
Yeah.
Ex Machina, he's super cocky in that movie too. No, that one's good. I hate that I missed that. For Marty, I said either Edward Norton or Sterling K. Brown.
Ooh. I like it.
Sterling gives me a little that Denzel thing to him too.
Yeah, I like it.
I get see that. Who'd you have for Aaron?
I've got Barry Keoghan.
Okay.
I did not like the new Peaky Blinders movie. I think his replacement of a past character was a bad choice, but his performance is not bad, and he has such a unique look. I think he'd be good. I think he could do the innocent and the dark pretty well. Do the multiple personalities pretty well.
I wrote down Tom Holland.
Me too.
Okay.
Because I think it would be cool to see him play a dark character.
Yeah. I was like, he could easily slip into the Aaron thing. He's got that down. And he looks like a baby. Like he's almost 30 and he looks
Speaking of babies, fucking Evan Peters, dude.
Ooh, Evan Peters would be good.
Yeah.
Man, that one's a good one too. Did you put anybody in for Janet?
I did. I've got I think I misspelled this. Jodie Comer.
Oh yeah, Jodie Comer. Yeah.
28 years later, and then Carrie. Carrie, I think is Boone from White Lotus. I can't remember. I think I misspelled it when I wrote it down. Let me look real quick.
Oh, Carrie Coon.
Carrie Coon, yeah. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, I love Carrie Coon. She
was also in Gone Girl. I was like, what else is she in? And I went and looked, and I was like, yeah, she was good in Gone Girl too. I think she could fill the role.
Yeah, she's good. That's a good pool. I had Rose Byrne. I was trying so hard to think on that one.
Rose Byrne could be cool for sure.
Yeah, she could be all right.
The lawyer.
Cherry did you watch Cherry with Tom Holland? I never saw it either, so I don't know if that was I don't know if he was a dark character in that movie or not. It's a good question though. Maybe I should watch Cherry. All right, fun facts. Did you know? Did you write anything down for this?
I did. Yeah, I think Cherry's got a darker college dropout, army medic in Iraq, spirals into drugs and crime. So yeah, I think that was darker. Not a whole lot that we haven't talked about already, like it being his first role, Oscar nominated, beat out thousands of people. The slow clap and the stutter were improv from Edward Norton, which makes it like just adds another, kind of acclaim for his performance in this movie. Like, to who the fuck improvs in their first movie?
Yeah. Just again, I think that gives us a lot of insight into who Edward Norton becomes. Like down the line, when that can't work with people is because he's like, nope, this is the way it should go. So, I mean, it worked out for him here. So,
Pedro Pascal's first audition, apparently.
Yeah, 2,100 actors auditioned for this. Matt Damon, Pedro Pascal, Leonardo DiCaprio. They wanted Leo.
Ben Affleck,
like everybody who was anybody around
Danny
that age. Ooh, that one doesn't sit well anymore.
James Vanderbeek, James Marsden.
That would have been a fun role for him.
All auditioned for this.
I mean, I'm glad he didn't get it, but that's tough.
Yeah. But I guess with like Damon and Ben Affleck, that was another thing I saw that I didn't write down, is that like getting denied for this role really like threw gasoline on their fire enough that they got cast in Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, that would have. I mean, we don't get Good Will Hunting if Edward Norton doesn't get this movie.
We don't get Good Will Hunting if Matt Damon gets.
If Matt Damon gets this movie,
or we get Good Will Hunting with Edward Norton and Ben Affleck.
Doesn't work. Doesn't work as much.
Keep it the way it is.
Yeah. Did you see that the ending of this? So the original cut of this movie was actually 3 hours and 15 minutes. So a whole hour more than what we got.
I think that explains a lot.
Yeah, it's got a lot of like his background and like him living in Kentucky, but they felt like it gave away the twist too much. So they took out a lot of that in order for them to like prevent it from tipping their hand. Also, I think there was another ending where there was an ending where we don't find out there was a twist that just ends with him winning. Mm-hmm. And then we also get another one where Marty takes him back on trial and goes after Aaron, which they wanted it. They scrapped it instead of like having Vale be, Marty be egotist, like get outsmarted by this dumb hick. So
they shot two movies worth.
Yeah, that's crazy. Anything else that you found interesting?
Nope.
Well, like a fine wine and dish, if you could pair this movie with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose? I think we've mentioned several of them.
Several of them. Usual Suspects, Seven, Nightcrawler, we've all mentioned. I also mentioned with Carrie, Gone Girl. I would say is a good pairing.
Oh, that is a good pairing with the Switch. Yeah.
Two we haven't mentioned I would recommend to pair with this would be Shutter Island. Ooh. And Mystic River.
Good ones. Solid movie. Mystic River. I need to go. I don't want to go back and watch Mystic River, but I need to go back and watch Mystic River.
Yeah.
That's a good one. We mentioned a few of them already. I added Murder by Numbers. Mm-hmm. Sandra Bullock, which you mentioned earlier, and Ryan Gosling, Michael Pitt. That one's got a fun twist in it. Along Came a Spider with Morgan Freeman. That movie got me when I was young too. I love that. Gone Baby Gone has a little twist.
Man, you were just making me think about that. And Lucky Number 7.
That was the next one I had.
Yeah, man. Shout out Josh Hartnett.
Man, what a good one. Just a good movie. I don't think people love that. Like critics love that movie, but I loved that movie when I was.
I can say that. Yeah, movie's great.
That movie's great.
Shout out Daniel Leathers for making me watch Lucky Number 7.
That's a good one. All right, on a rewatchability scale, is this one are you likely to throw this one on again?
I gave it a 3.5. Like,
Same.
Good, not great. Like, I think it would be interesting to go back and watch it, knowing how it ends. But I would say probably like after another two, like if this was the kind of movie I saw on TV several times, I knew the ending growing up and I'd have watched it, it would have probably been a lot lower.
Yeah.
But I think after just first watch, still has a decently high rewatchability.
Yeah, I think even if it's not like obviously like just fast forwarding to the end, like from the trial, like the ending trial scene to the very end, like I could watch that a lot, like
Yeah.
over and over. Yeah, I'd skip it. I'd cut a lot of this movie if I could, just to get rid of some of that side plot stuff. The
I think
weird,
it's worth rewatching. And I think there's something also to give credit to that, like you end up watching some older Edward Norton, and you're with somebody like you were saying at the beginning, and they're like, "Yeah, I haven't seen Primal Fear." I would be like, "Oh, you need to watch it.
Let's put it on right now.
Yeah,
Let's see how this goes."
If you like Edward Norton and you haven't seen Primal Fear, which is his first movie, yeah, we should watch it right now.
Yeah. All right. Overall, what did you give it?
Overall, I gave it a 3.5 as well. Like
Yeah.
I thought there was a lot of holes. I thought there was a lot of nonsense, but it still wasn't bad. But it wasn't, even with the twist. I don't know that I could go a full 4 stars, which is to me like really good. So yeah, 3.5 for me on rewatchability and overall.
Yeah. On overall, I originally had this on Letterboxd. I don't even think that I had rewatched it in 20 years, but I had it as a 4 and I had a heart on it and I was like, I love this movie. This movie's so good. And then I watched it this time around and I was like, oh, this isn't as good. So I gave it a 3. I still like this movie a lot. I still will think of this movie. It has stuck with me for years. The reveal, the murder, like all these things have stuck with me for years. So I still think that means it's a good movie, and it's got great performances in it.
That's what I was just gonna say for my criteria. Like who's the worst actor in the movie?
Yeah.
If you start with acting and performances, who's the worst actor? Who gives a shitty performance?
I don't really know. I like it. I like the side characters even. Like,
yeah, got to be like a 4 on acting. The music's super solid.
Yeah.
Throughout. So like I kind of lean towards like a 4, 3.5 on that. Dialogue, 3, like right down the middle. It's not bad. It's not great. What am I missing? Cinematography and editing.
It's fine.
It's
Yeah.
fine. It's a 3. So those couple 4s, and then the overall impact, I got to give the twist something.
Yeah.
So it's like probably a 3.5, a 4 there too. So that's why I land like
in the middle. Yeah.
At a 3.5. I can't give it a 4. It was too long. It was too much. The relationship between Marty and Janet.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff in there.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Steven, for watching this movie with me. I'm excited that it was your first watch. I am glad that we got to do this. So thank you for doing that. Before we wrap up, is there any movie recommendations that you have? Have you watched anything lately that doesn't even have to be a movie? Because I haven't been watching movies as much as I used to.
Yeah, as happens in our household, I've been stuck on a show. We're getting really close to wrapping it up, so I'll be back on my movie game shortly. But I've been watching a show my brother's been recommending to me for years. It's been out on Netflix for like 7-8 years now, I think. It's called Dark.
Oh, yeah, that German sci-fi.
And it is fucking amazing.
Okay.
It is like nothing I've ever seen. Like I think the closest thing I've ever seen would be Back to the Future.
Yeah.
But it is not as fun.
Like that's
it was a dark version of Back to the Future. But yeah, if you were gonna start it, I know people have a lot of feelings about like subs versus dubs. And it is pretty exhausting to read all the subtitles in this movie. There's a lot of times where it's pretty fast paced, a lot of dialogue going on, and it's easy to miss stuff. So I wish we would have started just listening to it in English.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been probably easier to keep up with, but it is crazy, based on that same concept of if you went into the past and changed something, it would change the present.
Mm-hmm.
But this is more like But what if you went to the future and that changed the past, which would then also change the present?
That's some.
It's been messing with me.
Yeah, I was about to say that's some hard stuff to.
Yeah, and then season 3 even takes it a step further from that. So,
And is it only 3 seasons?
it's only 3 seasons, and as of right now, I would recommend it heavily. The word on the internet is that you get a pretty good payoff at the end. So I'll next time I'm on, I'll probably have a full recommendation.
Nice. It's on my list. It's been on my list. I think it's been in my queue for years, and I've just never. I think I started it once and was like, I can't do this right now.
I did. Yeah, we've started it before too, but I would say it's one of those things, kind of like Game of Thrones, or Peaky Blinders. It's not super exciting.
Yeah.
It's not fast paced, not a lot of action, but I guarantee you, if you make it through season 1, you'll be hooked.
Okay.
Or you'll hate it and turn it off again.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's pretty much
Pretty
it.
much ruling your life. Yeah. I've been ingrained in Teen Titans. We've made it through 2 seasons of Teen Titans. That's been fun.
Yeah.
And then I just started, Alyssa and I just started Psych. I love Psych. I've seen Psych before. So there's like 6 seasons of that or something on. So we just started that for a little palate cleanse. But I'm hoping to get back on movies soon and really crush some movies.
A lot of Archer too.
Archer's so good. And I always have that, those shows that you can just keep putting on.
Yeah.
I watched South Park this week because I was like, I needed some South Park in my life. So, well, we want to know what you're watching. We want to know what everybody's watching. If you want to keep that conversation going, join our Discord. You can find the links below, or however it's on the Linktree thing that I've got here. Follow us on Instagram. Check out my letterbox. See what I've been watching lately. I know it's not been much, but I've seen a lot of movies. So, next week, we're going to continue this theme of I'll See You in Court, where each movie is a different courtroom story. And we are going to be talking about the John Grisham classic, A Time to Kill. I have never seen this movie. I've seen a lot of the Grisham movies, but I've never seen A Time to Kill. So I'm looking forward to that one. And we'll be live next Sunday at 5 p.m. And we hope to see you then. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on 52/1996.
We spun the reel through desert storms and courtroom cries. Love letters burned, planes went down, truth hid behind the lies. From snowbound crimes in Fargo streets to agents running wires, we laughed with Gilmore, screamed in masks, lit theaters on fire. It's 52/1996, let the credits roll tonight. Good movies, bad movies, all of them in the same rewind. 1 year, 1 week, every frame gets its time to shine. We'll see you next story on 52/1996.